I don't know what brought you here, but I'm guessing it wasn't random. There's something shifting in the atmosphere around you right now. Like the texture of your days has changed. Like existence has been murmuring instead of declaring. And you've been catching fragments of it without fully understanding what you're receiving. So let's have a real conversation. Just us. No manufactured inspiration, no polished platitudes, just honest exchange. Because there's something on your horizon that's closer than your mind realizes. You ever notice how life feels strange right before it pivots? Not theatrical, not mystical, just altered. Like you're standing in a corridor between chapters. The previous door sealed behind you, and the next one hasn't revealed itself yet. Most people interpret that space as being directionless, but it's the precise moment life is reconfiguring itself. You didn't regress. You didn't collapse. You kept moving even when the pace felt glacial. That's why this message located you. Silence doesn't indicate stagnation. It means everything is aligning beneath the visible surface. Here's something most people never grasp. Your existence upgrades internally before anything external manifests. You start feeling agitated by conditions you used to accept. You start craving tranquility more than validation. You start wanting to purify your environment, your patterns, your connections. Your standards elevate, your tolerance decreases, and all of it appears arbitrary, but it's calculated. Your energy is preparing for what your circumstances haven't delivered yet. It's like your essence is miles ahead, and the material aspects of your life are sprinting behind, trying to synchronize. That's why you've been feeling displaced, not damaged, transitioning. Significant developments rarely announce themselves gracefully. They arrive disguised as friction, as opposition, as why does everything suddenly feel dense? That's not you disintegrating. That's you being drawn back like a weapon being loaded. The further life draws you, the further you're designed to project. The moments you perceived as paralysis were moments accumulating momentum. The people who departed created vacancy. The opportunities that dissolved were course corrections. Your compression wasn't indicating surrender. It was indicating something substantial needed the pressure to build. Let me articulate this plainly. You weren't prepared to receive what you desired back then. Not because you lacked capability, but because you needed capacity. You needed more resilient boundaries, keener discernment, purified energy, a more profound sense of inherent value. You needed to stop pleading for minimal effort so you could finally magnetize the elements designed for your expansion. Consider every postponement as a conditioning ground. Existence building the strength you'd require to sustain the very things you requested. Nothing you experienced was squandered. Not a teaching, not a connection, not a reversal. All of it was calibration. So when the gift arrives, you don't mishandle it. Here's how you recognize something substantial approaching. 1. You're steadier even when circumstances defy logic. Your essence knows before your intellect does. 2. You don't pursue people anymore. You're beginning to comprehend your worth. 3. You feel detached from your previous existence because you don't belong in spaces you've transcended. 4. You're experiencing spontaneous impulses to refine your routines. Fresh energy demands fresh framework. 5. Synchronicities, recurring symbols, timing converging. Those aren't coincidental, they're indicators. 6. You're exhausted in an unfamiliar way. Not physically, but soul deep because the previous chapter is concluding itself. These are markers of alignment, not disorder. If what we're exploring here is resonating with you, if you're recognizing your own experience in these words, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. We're creating content for people who are in this exact transitional space, who need confirmation they're not lost but realigning. Your subscription helps us reach others who need this message. Please take a moment and subscribe. Now let's talk about what happens next. The moment everything transforms often feels microscopic. You remove a contact. You initiate a fresh practice. You decline when you historically agreed. You select serenity instead of recognition. You finally acknowledge what you desire and what you're finished with. One minuscule act of authenticity with yourself can invert your entire trajectory. Substantial gifts don't materialize simultaneously. They emerge from a singular shift in your selections, and you're positioned at the precipice of that shift. So let me articulate what's advancing toward you. Individuals who resonate with your essence. Possibilities that stream, not strain. A dimension of tranquility that feels unprecedented. Assurance that doesn't waver. Lucidity that feels like inhaling again. A version of you that feels like arrival. And it's approaching rapidly. Not through fortune, but because you finally synchronized with it. You're not pursuing anymore. You're magnetizing. You've transported substantial weight quietly. You've matured in dimensions people didn't observe. You mended in moments no one witnessed, but the universe registered it. Your future registered it. That's why this recalibration is arriving. Your internal landscape has been transforming, while your external circumstances caught up slowly. That disconnection you've been feeling from familiar situations, from habitual responses, from relationships that once felt essential, that's not alienation. That's your frequency outgrowing containers that can't hold your expansion. You've been existing in dimensional overlap, 1 foot in the reality that used to define you, and 1 foot in the reality trying to emerge. That split creates exhaustion people don't understand when they look at your life from outside. They see someone functional, maybe even successful, and wonder why you seem tired. They don't see the energy required to exist simultaneously in multiple frequencies. They don't feel the gravitational pull between who you've been and who you're becoming. That tension isn't your enemy. It's evidence of movement. The delays you've experienced weren't punishments or tests. They were incubation periods. Seeds don't sprout the day they're planted. They require darkness, pressure, time invisible beneath soil before anything breaks surface. You've been beneath the surface longer than felt reasonable. You've questioned whether anything was actually growing or if you just buried potential in dirt. But growth in darkness is still growth. Roots before shoots. Foundation before structure. Before we close, I want to ask something. If this message has touched something real in you, if you're feeling seen in ways you haven't been lately, please subscribe to the channel. We're going deeper into navigating these transitional spaces in upcoming content, and your subscription helps us continue creating for people in the midst of their becoming. Please take a moment and subscribe. Thank you for being here. Take a breath and trust where you're heading. Your blessings aren't distant. They're finally synchronizing with where you are. The version of you that could receive them is forming right now in the space between where you've been and where you're going. Your next chapter doesn't start when circumstances change. It starts when your internal alignment reaches the frequency that external reality has to match. And you're closer to that frequency than you realize. The shift is happening. You're not waiting for it anymore. You're in it.